and the Stones. Joining us now, Arkansas State Senator Breanna Davis. Breanna, thanks for coming on, Senator.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
What brings you to Mississippi in the Unleash Mississippi event?
Well, I was the lead sponsor for the LEARNS Act in Arkansas, which was probably the most comprehensive education reform package in the country to date. And so I'm happy to be here and just visit with the folks here to learn more about education freedom.
It got tremendous national attention, no doubt about it. And Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders seemed to indicate, I mean, like before the ink was dry after her inauguration on whatever they signed there to become governor, went right to it and said, top priority, getting this done, and got it done.
Yeah.
Through your legislature to the governor's desk, signed into law.
Yeah,
within a month, right after she was inaugurated, I think, somewhere in
It
there.
was pretty close. It was about 2 months, but
Okay.
just working through the details. But it was the day after election when she won. She was on the fight, and we were working on language and figuring out what other states had done that had been successful. But she promised people for 2 years. That was her number one priority, and she delivered.
Did you run into opposition? This may be a rhetorical question, but did you run into opposition from, let's just say, the public school establishment, people that had serious concerns about how this might negatively affect the public schools in Arkansas?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times some of those bigger groups, their default is to oppose and not listen first and then make suggestions or work with. Now, I will say some of those groups did have some members that worked hard to meet us and be on board and provide valuable input. But we tried to work with those groups. We offered to let them have input on the front end and kind of see what they were interested in. And it was a group effort. But, yeah, we certainly faced that opposition.
What inspired you to personally spearhead this? Do you have some background here or something in your history?
Yeah, well, I did serve on my local school board for 9 years,
Okay.
Before coming to the State Senate. I've been in the Senate for the last 5 years, and I ran for school board. I was 25 years old. I had a 1-year-old, and there weren't any other parents on our school board, and I thought that was an unhealthy mix. I thought we needed representation from all walks of life on our local school board, and since that time, I now have 4 kids. 3 of them are in public schools, one's in preschool, and my youngest has Down syndrome and will, walk that special needs path through public schools. Very likely, we'll determine that, I guess, private or public schools. But I think just understanding what our kids are facing in schools, what our teachers are facing, and knowing that it's a priority and it impacts generations.
Did Arkansas have any sort of school choice in place before this bill?
We had public school choice in place, so you could move within, district to district. And we also had something called the Succeed Scholarship, which I think Mississippi has something similar for students with disabilities that meet, 200% or below the federal poverty level.
Yep.
And we've seen great success with that. And so we do have a little history with it.
Did you have charter schools?
Yes, we do have some charter schools as well.
Did those exist? Did you have the ability to create charter schools before this legislation?
Yes, yes, we did, yeah.
So similar to what we have here, we have charter schools, we have the education scholarship accounts for special needs, for dyslexia, sort of ends there. We do have the ability to transfer between districts, but I believe both have to agree to it in Mississippi. That's the way it works. So.
Yeah.
So how is that going to work in Arkansas? That's a question that comes up a lot. We have people here concerned about, geez, we don't want all the people in the nearby failing district to, jump over to the better district, and there's just a road that separates the two. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I understand that. And before LEARNS in Arkansas, we had a cap at 3% of your student population. So, and if you applied before, May 31st or something like that, you could choice within that cap.
Okay.
The LEARNS Act lifted that cap, so now you can go to any school you choose if it's within public school choice.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think that we deserve, our kids deserve that. They deserve to go to a school that meets their educational needs and a school that they're going to learn and thrive. And so it's an important choice for them to be able to make.
Yeah. But the goal, of course, and just to make sure folks understand about school choice, it's to do no harm. We don't want to do any harm to any public schools or any school settings in any of the various environments whatsoever. We want to make them all better. That's what we're trying to do, and give people options.
Yep, that's exactly right. One thing that the Arkansas Education Secretary, Jacob Oliva, says over and over again in the town halls that he does with our governor across the state is he says, we know that even with universal school choice, that parents, families, students will overwhelmingly continue to choose our public schools.
Yeah.
And we know that.
Yeah.
And we addressed a lot of that in the LEARNS Act, just putting resources and a lot of money into our public schools.
Makes sense. Appreciate that. Appreciate you being here, Senator.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
a lot.
you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
looking forward to
having me
talking to you later. Arkansas Senator Breanna Davis has been our guest here at the Unleash Mississippi, Empower Mississippi event. We're taking a break for Fox News and SuperTalk News. Coming right back. Stay